Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we go again. It is a fabulous Monday here in the studio as I record. And it's been a minute since I've recorded. I've been doing some flashback episodes, resharing from years back my reading of the book, The Power of Awareness. And I was inspired to do that because I have been doing, as I've also talked about on recent episodes, the Jose Silva mind control method and visualization exercises that I have talked about. And yeah, that book, Power of Awareness it really is like one of the OG, manifestation, tuning to the frequency that you most want to step into, the timeline that you most want to step into. And, doing that is it's really an enjoyable process. If you go back and listen, if you want to hear sort of that process, it's in a few weeks back. You can find it if you go to positivehead.com and search through descriptions, but I don't remember which episode off the top of my head. But, what's interesting to think about when we think about stepping into whatever version of reality, what timeline, you're really not creating it so much as it's already all there, right? You're tuning into it. Like like Derek Rydell talked about years back on an episode, it's the law of emergence. It's creating the right conditions. The oak tree is already in the acorn. So the version of you that you're wanting to tap into, and that's really what Jose Silva's technique does, is really helps you to sort of align with that version of reality that already is. And it may be in a future linear time, so to speak, but that exists now, just like your 5th birthday party is happening on another channel, right? So tuning into that and having some sort of a technique or approach to tuning into it, I think is a very powerful thing to do. So yeah, that's what I've been focused on myself more lately, and having more technique to go along with my as opposed to just kind of creating on a whim. Just coming up with a more structured way to do it. I'm finding a lot of benefit. And of course, I always like to share those sorts of things as I develop them and tap into them more myself. But that being said, I wanted to interrupt my readings of The Power of Awareness, because I think there's still a few episodes left worth of me reading that book, because I wanted to share something else inspiring. You guys know I love inspired stories and synchronicity and magic, and just anytime I can share evidence of something greater than ourselves and, synchronicity or serendipity or a positive paranormal story, I'm all over that, because I know it lights you guys up the way it lights me up. And I think that's why I have such a good amount of it happening. I bring that childlike wonder, lest you become like a child, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven, right? And so I think bringing that childlike excitement to the experiences continues to bring them into my life. And so I had a new experience that I have not had before that I wanted to share with you. And it's some information coming through the dream state. And in this case, I guess you could say it's sort of a psychic or medium. In the case of this dream, it's medium ship in a way, because I feel very confidently that I connected with my dead grandparents, and it led to something really cool in the waking life. So yeah, so I wanted to, we'll be back to Power of Awareness again, reading that, finishing the last chapters of that in the coming episodes, daily episodes. But I wanted to, interject today and just share this really cool story that happened last week to just inspire you guys. Well, one way, I think it really inspires is death isn't real. We talk about this. We are eternal beings having a human experience. We talk about this idea, like Rumi says, this place is a dream and only a sleeper considers it real. Then death comes like dawn and you wake up laughing at what you thought was your grief. This is the dream. And when we die is the reality. And so it's interesting because I had a dream within the dream, right? Sleeping the other night that really is evidence that really supports this ultimate truth. So yeah, story time. I'm going to share what happened. It was super, super cool. So I was, dreaming last week. And in the dream, I had all of a sudden my grandmother and grandfather, my mom's parents, on the line. It was kind of like in the dream, it was kind of like, I got them on the phone. I got through, was the feeling. Like, we've got a connection, and it was like they were on the other end of a phone call or FaceTime kind of feel. And from there, I don't have like full recollection of everything that happened within the connection. I know we were communicating, and I remember my excitement of establishing a connection with them, right? And, my grandmother died, probably 94, something like that, 93, maybe a little later, 95, I don't know, somewhere around there. My grandfather, I've shared this story about him recently, where I think I could possibly have bumped up against his reincarnation version of himself. So I know his exact date. He died March 10th, 1985. But anyway, they were both there. They're both together. I was connecting with them and talking to them. And then, once I woke from the dream, probably 2, 3 in the morning. And all I remembered when I woke out of the dream was my grandfather in that conversation referenced World War II and now my grandfather, I've mentioned this on the show in the past, he was at Pearl Harbor when it got hit in, December, 1942. My grandfather was 27 years old, and he's standing on the ship that he's on. And, he's in the Navy, career Navy, the Utah, which is still sunk at the bottom of Pearl Harbor. And his friend standing next to him when the boat got hit by the Japanese attack, his friend died, and he jumped ship and swam. Luckily for me in this podcast, because you wouldn't be hearing it. And so my grandfather at Pearl Harbor. So I think of him with, the military, Navy, World War II. And so he was in the dream. It was like he was bringing through his friend from World War II is what it felt like. And so I thought of the friend that died, although I came to discover that's not what he was referencing, but that was sort of a connection for me. It's like, oh, World War II and my Grandpa Joe's friend. So as I was waking up, I heard the name of the friend, Peter Finch. So I'm half asleep, barely awake. And I remember that struggle. Have you ever had it where it's like, write this down, and you're so tired, you're like, oh, I don't know if I can get the strength to do it. And I had that moment of, you need to write it down. You need to remember the guy's name. You need to remember his name. So I rolled over and I mustered up the strength to grab my phone, and I just jotted a note, Peter Finch, World War II. Went right back to sleep. Next morning, I'd forgotten. And luckily, I wrote it down. So when I grab my phone, that's the first thing on my phone. It's like, oh yeah, Peter Finch, World War II. So I go and I look up Peter Finch, and to see, is this a real person? Like, this name is completely random to me. And first thing that comes up is a famous actor who died in the 70s. He was the first actor to win an Oscar soon after his death for a movie called The Network. And so I pulled up his Wikipedia as the first thing when I searched Peter Finch. And then the next part of his Wikipedia was all about the time he served in World War II as a gunner at a battle. I think it was, if I recall, it was like the Battle of Darwin or something. So it was kind of a well-known battle. He was a gunner in that battle. So this guy's a famous actor in a, World War II. He was, I think he's Australian. And so he was fighting for, if I recall, like England or Australia or something. I need to go back and visit again. But of course, I was super excited to see, like, oh my gosh, this is a real guy. And oh my gosh, this real guy was in World War II. And then, of course, when it comes to acting, because there was that thread in it and he was a famous actor, I instantly think of my son Bradley, who I've told you guys about, when he was 18. He's now 24. He was, Colby Rebel, who's been on the show, psychic medium who's been on the show many times, especially in years past, predicted that I took him to get a reading for his 18th birthday. And she's like, oh my gosh, Bradley's going to be this huge actor. And his spirit guide is Charlie Chaplin. And I've never seen a celebrity spirit guide before. And, that was before Bradley began acting. And in the last year and a half, 2 years, he's been in like 30, 40 productions. He won Best Actor in an Indie Film in the LA Film Awards. And, he's really dedicated himself to the craft and he just really loves it. And he's all in it for the right reason. He's such a pure artist. And so super proud of him and his dedication there. And so I instantly thought of Bradley, of course, and was like, oh my gosh, maybe he watches a different movie almost every night. A lot of times old film and foreign film, et cetera. So I'm like, we should go watch The Network. Maybe this Peter Finch film has some message in it, who knows? And so I didn't see him, that day. And a lot of times I'll see him earlier in the day, but that day, for whatever reason, I hadn't seen him. I didn't get to share my dream story with him or talk to him about it or anything like that. And probably about 5 p.m, I'm about to walk out the door to go play tennis. I'm in my tennis gear, got my racket in hand, ready to go meet my friend at the courts. And I get a text from him. Hey, Dad, I just got a last minute, out of left field audition request for a World War II film. And I need to submit it tonight. Like I have like 2 hours to submit it. So can you help me do the reading? Because whenever he does what they call self-tape, he has to have someone read opposite him as the, other character. He's auditioning for one. And then like when I fill in, I'll play whoever, the other character is so he can demonstrate his acting skills, right? And so I'm like, of course, normally I would tell him, because he does lots of these self-tapes. It's like, I'm walking out the door. My friend's already en route to the courts. I'm running a little late. And so I normally had been like, yeah, no, another day. I've already got plans, whatever. But because of this dream, of course, I'm like, absolutely, I cancel my plans and go to help him, do it. And so what's crazy is, so when I'm now, next little piece of this is when I'm recording with him, or I'm sorry, when I was had the dream, it was my grandfather Joe, who was in World War II, and my grandmother, who we called Moo, and MOO, and she, she's like second mother to me. I spent most weekends with her, in my childhood, and just adore her. And so as I'm helping him to read, the part, I'm reading, and it's very short. I mean, this is like a 2-minute reading out of the whole script or whatever. It's just a random segment they suggest he does this. And I'm reading, and his character is like a, green kind of young, private from, Nebraska. And so my character reading opposite, I'm like, oh, you're from Nebraska, huh? How about I just call you Moo? And I'm like, what? Like literally that was one of the lines in parentheses, in quotes, Moo, I'll call you Moo to him. And so anyway, we record it. He submits it. Literally, a lot of times there's these things that he can even be months and whatever. He got the request. He had to submit it that night. He submitted it that night, heard back the next day. We love you. We want you for the film for the short. It's really a pilot for a new show that would basically do different Medal of Honor winners, like a TV show that will have one episode is this Medal of Honor story winner, and then each one's a new story each episode. So this is their pilot episode. And so, yeah, he auditioned for it. He got cast in it. He already filmed it this weekend. So literally within like a few days span, got the request, sent it in, got the position, and he's already filmed. And it was cool for him because it was the first time he's done like a period piece, and it had like a, bigger budget, obviously, like with real World War II guns and bombs going off and, the whole, the fatigues. And so yeah, really, really cool. And we'll see what comes of it. Who knows if the pilot gets picked up, maybe they'll use him. I'd imagine they'd want to use him in that episode, whichever one they decided to depict as the example. And it could be the thing that leads to his big break. Who knows such things, but what I do know for sure is, like, for me, this was such a powerful example of tuning into the beyond, piercing the veil, and getting data and information across to me, receiving this name that actually has meaning and relevance. And then, of course, when it popped up that next day, I could, I knew, like, I have to cancel my plans, and, otherwise I would most likely would not have. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted as maybe you'll see this show come out. The people putting it together have worked on like big productions like Saving Private Ryan, and they're really, I guess tapped in with like DreamWorks and things like that. So it's a very established crew behind it. So yeah, what a trip, right? So cool. I was so inspired by that. That was a first for me, to get, like I said, to get a name from Beyond the Veil. So I just wanted to jump in and share that, story time with you guys on this episode. And just for any of you out there who have a lost loved one or are questioning, does life really go on? It's like, for me, it's like, it's obvious. This is like great firsthand evidence and proof that indeed our loved ones are there. Their loved ones are there on the other side, rooting you on, working for you. If you've lost someone that you adore and miss, you just have an angel on the other side now that's working on your behalf the same way I do. Now their they never even knew Bradley, their great grandson, right? But here they are working to get him a message that make sure I help him to do this audition. And so, Mary Elizabeth Fry wrote a poem that just rings true more than ever after this experience. And I'm gonna close out today reading it. She said, "Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die." Thank you all for tuning in. As always, I love you so much. Hope you are feeling inspired and uplifted. I do have a song to leave you with that seems appropriate for this episode. It's by Noah Gunderson. It's called "Send the Rain to Everyone." Till next time, journey well.
Death is coming, carried on his crooked wings. I can't do anything. Death is coming, carried on his crooked wings. I can't do anything. Hold on to what you've got. Put a lock on the door. Double the night. Love is coming, coming for to carry me. I don't know anything. Love is coming, coming for to carry me. I don't